Welcome back to the Uncensored Mothers Podcast. I'm Aireen Joy with my co-host Marie-Laure. Today we have a really special episode that we're doing just us again. So you're lucky to be with us too, y'all. We are talking today and we were already like crying pre-recording. So it's going to be a really sensitive episode. We're talking about rainbow babies, our rainbow babies, the language around that especially, and language in general around motherhood and some of the taboos around that.
Yeah, a heavy topic. We were just talking about how
It's like, I'm still
how
crying.
rainbow babies came. It's complicated, right? Because it's like thinking about rainbow babies is thinking about the baby we lost, and not saying that our rainbows were not planned. There's a story there already, right? And compared to like a first child, there's already that story written of when we wanted. It disrupts everything that you picture with your family, like how you hoped your family would look like, and like, okay, I'll have two kids, and they'll have like 3 years apart, whatever. Like I remember being pregnant with Juliet and thinking, all right, I think I'll get pregnant again around the time she's 3, just because she could manage being by her. Like I was so sick with her, like pregnancy sickness, morning sickness. And I was like, okay, I'll need like a child that's like older to be able to manage on their own while I'm like throwing up. And, and I did it, and then she died, and then you want to be pregnant right away. And we couldn't. I had to wait a year to heal, and then we struggled to get pregnant. And so there is that 3-year gap, but not wanted. It's like it disrupts everything.
Unintentional.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have something similar too, where like very close baby.
Yeah. Yeah. So Laylee and Leia are a year apart. So Laylee was born on March 28th. Leia was born on March 23rd. And I don't know if you remember, Marisa, I was hospitalized during that time with Leia, and they were talking about induction for me. And every single week being hospitalized with Leia, and I made it another week. Like the nurses made a little sign for me. I was like, yay, happy like 28 weeks, happy 32 weeks. And then I got to my 35th week and they all signed it and stuff. And I was like, I still have it. It's like so cute.
That's so beautiful.
So sweet. I love the pick nurses. I absolutely love them all. And it was just a celebration every week that I got there, because I was in there for like a month. It was like really hard. And I was just like, okay, induction, like, let's just get her out. And they're like, okay, it's probably going to be closer to 27th or 28th, they were saying. I was like, I can't do March 28th. Like I told the induction team, I told my doctors, I'm like, no. And then my MFM team, my maternal fetal medicine team, they were all like, no, not March 28th. Because they knew from my health records and history, and I was very honest with them. I'm like, just March 28th is not the day. Any other day but that. I don't care. Any other day. It can be like, I don't care. The 16th, I don't care if it's in April. It's not that day because it's already traumatic enough. And my nurses advocated for me on the PICU floor, but it sucked. The only funny thing that turned out with Leia Jade's birthday is that my dog Luna and her share the same birthday, just 2 years apart. So I have to like split my time with my dog and my rainbow baby. So March is kind of all craziness for me. But yeah, so the year gap, I don't recommend it to have Irish twins, but also it was just the way it was meant to be. So it sucks though, because like we were talking before, Marie, about school years, like Leia's back in school now and she's in kindergarten. And so I was taking her pictures, and I haven't even had time to post them on social media yet because I haven't had the like emotional bandwidth to be honest, because I'm like, this sucks. Like I should be posting both my girls. And then I was like, I thought of you and Juliet's lion. I was like, should I post Laylee's bear with her little sign? And I was like, I probably should.
Yeah,
I
you
just,
should.
I don't know.
You
It just
should.
because I'm like, I want both my living kids there. You know what I mean?
Right. It's hard. And that's what we talked about too. It's like that feeling of what it would have been, what it would like, and you having your daughters so close, that feeling sometimes of, as you were sharing, like it was one or the other, like, but it could have happened. I mean, these are like very possible. And I wanted 2 children and I have 3. And it's like when my youngest have been here, and I believe in my heart that yes, like we would have had a third. Even though when I was pregnant with Juliet, not knowing I had preeclampsia and being like feeling so unwell, I remember thinking like, "Phew, I'm one and done. I cannot do this again. This is so hard on my body." I did not know I had preeclampsia while I was still experiencing symptoms. And so I was not one and done. But there's like this little brother, like, and I want him to grow up knowing that he was always meant to be here. Like he was never, because his sister wasn't here. I had another baby. Like even when
That's
I had my miscarriage, I felt it was just not the right time. Thinking it's supposed to be September. It's like, the baby was, my miscarriage baby was due in September 2025. And I got pregnant in September 2025. And I kept, while going through the miscarriage, I kept thinking, this is just not yet. This is a not yet. This is a not yet. And I kept thinking of September. I was like, it's going to happen in September. I don't know why. And yeah. And there I was pregnant in September.
crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's like you instinctually like knew. You just knew.
Yeah, and I mean, I was like, maybe I'm delusional and just trying to make myself feel better, but I just kept thinking like, because it was a blighted ovum. So there's like some comfort in that to me, that I never had to see a heartbeat. So it felt like a pregnancy loss and not a baby loss,
Right.
which felt very different. Although like, we were invested in that baby from the moment, like you are, right? But I kept thinking September, it's a not yet. This loss it's just telling me not yet, but it's coming.
Interesting. Interesting. I felt like I don't know. So I miscarried after Laylee. I also miscarried after, and it's funny because I had to go to the hospital unfortunately this week because it was at the same hospital to visit, and I it was like bringing me back, and I told my boyfriend, I'm like, oh, this is like the same ER, like walking through, and he goes, okay. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Like I'm good. I'm just letting you know, like if I'm being quiet right now, that's why. 'Cause it was like a little bit of PTSD, but it was just pure flashback. And just more so to like what the ER doctors were not very kind about it, it was an early miscarriage. It was like barely 5 weeks, 6 weeks. So they didn't send you to the mom and baby hospital. They sent you to the general ER hospital in San Diego. So, I mean, I just same thing. I didn't feel like it was the right timing. I don't know why. I was like, this is not my rainbow baby. I don't know why, but I was very upset though that I miscarried, but I think it was more so I was like, another defeat. Like,
Right.
I just had a stillborn. Now I'm having a miscarriage. Like, what the heck? And
Yeah, it's unfair.
so unfair. So
Like
unfair when you're already in the
we should
country.
be protected from miscarriage and infertility after losing a baby. Like, of course life doesn't work that way, but there should be something like you get protected.
Where's that top tier package I can like purchase or something, like crap. Like, why can't we have that extra
Yeah.
layer bubble? Yeah, I want to subscribe to that VIP,
I
like
know. I know.
brief
The
thing.
I want a baby and I have the baby's here in your arm healthy, no issues.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
I have a question, Marie. I wanted to ask. I had like two questions actually planned for this
okay,
episode.
do it.
So I know you and I have talked a lot about language on, motherhood and stuff, and I know like I use the term angel baby sometimes for Laylee. Because again, like that's how I grew up with religion and stuff. How are you with like language or like if someone doesn't like say something that you identify with, like how do you cope with?
Yeah, I don't use the term angel baby. It doesn't resonate with me. I think it's also probably because after Julia died, I saw a lot of God needed another angel or something. And it got me like, I can't deal with this. And I will say, I don't like it when people use angel for a living baby.
I'm the same.
That's my angel baby. Like, I'm like, no, it's not. So and I think it's because of the lost community, the lost culture that it's like angel baby to me is a baby that died. But I don't use that. I usually say my daughter who died. If I want to be a little bit more poetic, I say she lives in like my daughter in the stars.
Mhm.
But I try to stay like as
Like,
factual as possible. Like she's,
yeah.
I mean, I don't go around as my dead baby, but I feel like I don't really qualify it that much. Like I think it's Juliet, and oh, she passed away, she died. I don't, and sometimes too, mostly to like her brothers. I'll say like, "Oh, your sister who now lives in the star," knowing that eventually they may like, tell me, let's like if we fly or something, are they gonna tell me let's go visit her? Like
Mm.
it could be, and maybe not. I had a friend who lost a daughter who when she was a young child, and he had told his younger daughter, your sister, she's in the clouds or something, and they flew one day, and she's like, "Oh, we're gonna go visit my sister," and he's like, and so that's where I'm like, my brain goes like, "Oh, are they gonna say one day something like that?" But yeah, I don't use Angel Baby. I'm fine with people, using it. And if someone, I try to be like open minded if it comes from a kind place. Like if you were to say like, "Oh, Juliet, you're Angel Baby," I would not be like, "No, she's not. Like she's dead. She's my dead baby." No, I think I would. Yeah, I'd be like, "Yeah, I get it. It's like language use, but I know for some people, like language can be difficult, or like the religious connotation is just not something they appreciate or want for their baby." And it's important, I think, to respect like how we all talk about our babies.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And I love that you just said that because I feel like, I don't know, you and I have talked about this ad nauseum, like over the years, but it's like when you take the kids out or you go to the park or you go out to a cafe and then they see your cute little family and they're like, "You have one? How many kids do you have?" And that's the one taboo. I'm like, don't ask how many kids people have.
I know. That
Don't
is,
ask how many kids people have because one, it's like kind of creepy if you really think about it. Like, you don't know who these people are. I know you're trying to make conversation. You can say, "Oh, you have such a cute son," or "You have such a cute daughter," or whatever. "Oh, I love how they're sitting so nice." Whatever. You can like, "I like your shoes, Teo." You know? I always hated when people are like, "So do you have any more at home?" I want to be like, "Yeah, I have one dead up in heaven. You want me to talk about her?"
yeah, it's such a hard question. Yeah, a lot of people ask me, "Oh, is that your first? Is that your only one? Is that?" And it's always like, how do we how do we answer that question? I made a drawing and maybe we can post it in the because it's like exactly that, like someone asking how many kids do you have to a pregnant woman, and all the thought she had in her head of like before answering, right? Because it's like so much in that split second that happens in your mind of like, do I ruin your day now? Do I tell you the truth? I don't know you? Do I just say like, yeah, that's the only one? But I might betraying my baby if I don't say that she's not there. Like, it's so much that happens in that moment. And I think for me, like most of the time, I just tell my truth. Like, I'm just like, I have
Mm.
three and leave it at that. Or if like, "Oh, how old are they?" And then I'm like, "Yeah, they've, 3 months, 3 years, and a daughter who died at birth." And I'll leave it at that. Like,
Eh,
and I feel like I try to go towards that truth because I feel the least guilty. Like, I don't care that I ruin your day. You asked me a very personal question, so I'm gonna tell you the truth. But I do care that I feel guilty that I'm leaving my daughter. Like, I feel like I'm leaving my daughter out. That I care. Like, that I care.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the same. Most of the time, though, I'll say I have one, depending on the situation, right? Like for me, it's like always situational. So, like when I still worked as an educator, I would always say one because to be honest, it was none of the families or the parents' like opinions, or it's none of their business to know about Laylee. Like, because for me, it was protecting me, it was protecting her in a sense, because they're just trying to be nosy sometimes and get to know you. And I'm like, well, I'm just here to do my job and teach your kids or, be their principal or whatever. Like I'm here to do my job. I'm not here to sit and talk for an hour and like have coffee with you, like I got things to do. I got a business to run. So like if it was most of the time though, I will say two. But if it was at work, I would say one. And so,
Sheesh. Isn't
but
this
see,
so complicated?
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And then it's like, if you did bring up your stillborn or your dead baby, you got the pity eyes, like the,
I know. I'm so sorry.
holy cow.
Yeah, the one you feel like you have to comfort the other person.
Yes. And I'm like, I'm not here to comfort you, bruh. I am not here it's not your therapy session. You asked me how many kids I have. You're not ready for the truth. And that's more the issue.
Yeah. I'm usually like, it's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, I'm not, like, I feel like I'm like a hard heart person because I'm like, it's okay, it's fine. Like
Yeah.
I've dealt with it. Like
Yeah.
like, I made peace with the fact that my daughter's dead. Like, that's the truth. Like, I don't need you to be, like, so down or start crying or
I know. I made this one grandma cry in Target one day because she was asking how many kids I had, and my daughter was with me, and then made this poor lady cry. And it was, of course, when Leia was a lot littler, but she just was sobbing. And then I'm like holding this lady in the aisle, and I'm like, What the heck is happening right now?"
I will say, if you cry and then you share with me that you also lost a baby, then it's very different. Like,
Yeah.
but if you just, like, cry like, especially if we don't know each other and you're like, it's weird that you just asked me a question, like, this is a fact in my life. I'm not sharing it for you to cry. It's just that it's my truth, and I feel important that it's important to me to say it out loud that I have 3 kids. And but if you do share, because it's happened, like, I remember postpartum I was still in the hospital postpartum with Teo, and I cried so much that week I joked that I cried more than he did. And we were having trouble breastfeeding and feeding him. And, they called like lactation, they called occupational therapy. They called so many people to help us because they knew it was important to me to try to breastfeed. And this occupational therapist comes in and she's a speech therapist. And she comes in and we're talking and, I start crying and I said, this is hard. I lost a daughter last year, 2020. I lost my baby and there's a lot going on hormonally and with the grief. And she like told me that she also lost a baby and we started crying together. And it's like, it's like, okay, there's a connection here. We connecting. Like if I share that I lost a baby and it's a door open for someone else to say like, yes, me too, then I'll be like, sisterhood, right? Like,
Yeah.
yes, let's talk about your baby. Let's talk about your dead baby. Like, I'm all in for this. I don't want to hear all about your babies.
Yeah. Then I get that mama coffee for sure, and we can chat for an hour. That's when I will chat. I'm not gonna like sit there and be like kumbaya for someone else who it's their first time experiencing that grief of like a miscarriage or stillborn, like over my grief. Like, does that make
Right.
sense? Like, I think the issue is a bigger issue in our society as a whole is that like we can't openly grieve. It's such a taboo if you're grieving and grieving openly or being honest about it. And I'm just like so tired of it. That's why, we talk about this, Marie, because it's just such BS. And it's like, let us openly talk about our loved ones. Like,
Hey, let me share. I just thought about it. Let me share the time that I was pregnant with Teo and we were taking CPR classes because we were like, we have to be able to do CPR on this baby if something happens. And so it was like a nurse that was doing this like as an additional job or whatever. It was in person and she sees me very pregnant, asking me like, how many children do you have? And I said, and the class was, there were people in the class. And I said, well, I'm pregnant with my second and I have a daughter. She passed away during birth. Don't tell me this. No, 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 no. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this. No, I have a grandson. I don't want to hear this.
in front of
It's
the
too
class.
hard for me. Like, and I was just like, I didn't say anything because I was like so shocked. But I was like, what the hell, lady? Like, my daughter dying is not going to kill your grandson. Like it was just such a weird reaction. Like, so that's how to
Stillbirth is
not respond
contagious.
to something. What?
Like stillbirth is contagious. Like that's what it
I
sounds
don't
like.
know. But that's how to not respond to someone that shared that their baby died. Like 100%. Like I will take the I'm very sorry. The like sometimes the ones like oh, it must be whatever people say. Or even so I feel like I would prefer someone crying than this type of response that's like not even like I'm sorry or anything, just like I don't want to hear about it. Like don't don't bring up your baby.
But like in front of like a whole group, like
Yeah.
as a professional, like read the room, lady. Like just like be like, I'm sorry. Okay, moving on. Like even like just
Don't ask a question if you're not ready for the answer.
girl, I'm sorry. That
Yeah.
sucks. Holy
Yeah, I
cow.
mean, it's okay. I made my peace with that. Like, but it's just like, I just remember that event. I'm like, oh yeah, I had this reaction too. Because most of the time you get from like, I'm sorry or, people that want to open and talk more about it, or but that one is still like,
Hmm.
that person is weird.
Does not seem kind. I'll just put it like that.
No.
Wow. Wow. And that people is how you don't respond. Like, let's
Yeah.
just got a great example right there. Don't respond like that. Lady, holy cow. Like, there's just so many things you don't say. And a lot of times when someone's opening up about loss, about losing someone, like, just be like supportive and just honestly, people just like just shut up and listen.
Right.
Because if someone feels comfortable enough to open up to you or tell you their truth about their loved one, maybe it's a learning lesson from the universe and from God or what have you that you need to hear this right now. Like you ask the question, how many kids we have, you're going to hear the answer. So,
And it's okay to follow up with questions. I think of like, may I ask what their name is, or or even like, yeah, like even something about the baby, like making it feel like the baby matters. I think it's okay to ask. Yeah, and everybody's gonna be different. Like
everyone's
I don't
different.
think we have like one grieving parent that is exactly the same as another, even though we are all. I mean, the fact that you call your baby Angel Baby and I don't, like, we've known each other for 6 years and we don't have that in common, and that's okay.
Totally okay. I think too, we're all gonna grieve in our own ways and to respect each other in that way and to come together as a community. That's why I love the lost mama community, especially lost parent community, because like I can't tell you how many friends I have made online, including you, Marie, like because like they're always like your biggest cheerleaders. They're like, you got a new job after your baby loss. They're like, hell yeah, girl, you do it. Like
There's so much love. There's so
me
much love. And I do like to think that babies bring us all together. Like, and let me ask you this. Like, I call myself a mother, but also call myself a bereaved mother. Do you have a term for like how you call
uh,
yourself?
like in regards to like as Laylee's mom or in
Yeah,
general.
like, and it's just like I can call myself a mother, I'm a mother, but I'm also a bereaved mother. That's like
Mhm.
another term I may use, like, obviously not every day. I'm like, oh, yes, I'm a bereaved mother. Like, no, but it's like kind of like a one way of describing my motherhood that I've used. I don't really use the lost mom. That's not usually a term that I use, but bereaved is, I mean, I think it's very similar, but that's just the one I picked. And then I was curious to know if you have a term that you use to describe your motherhood sometimes.
Yeah, that's a good one, Marie. I like haven't talked about this in a long time actually. Yeah, so I say I'm a mama, like I'm a mommy. I'm a mommy, like from Love Island. I'm a mommy. I'm a mommy, and oh yeah, you don't get the reference because you're girl. We didn't get you
Yeah.
on Love. Okay, this is like this crazy, like this cute girl, and she's like, I'm a mommy. I'm a single mommy, and it's like this. I'll put it on the podcast that way everyone knows.
You have to promise me you're not going to say anything to any of the other guys because it's not their business. But I'm a mommy.
Mommy?
I'm a mom.
Mamacita.
No, I say I'm a mama and then I say I'm a lost mom. I actually don't say bereaved mom, but that's like so much more professional. I like that so much more. I might start using that. But I've always done lost mom. I think because, okay, so when Laylee died, I went on this deep dive of like, what am I as a mom now? Because I don't have a living baby. And no one ever talked to me about that. Like, I'm gonna turn to cry. I was never talked to about like what is a bereaved parent or like what is bereavement. Cause like mind you, I hadn't gone through any significant losses in my life, except for my grandfather passed away that I was really close to. And I had a good friend of mine in high school pass away unexpectedly. Otherwise, I hadn't dealt with grief ever. And then my daughter died. So I don't know. I was like, I don't know what it is. Cause now people are saying I'm not a mom. Like my own mom was like, well, you'll have more babies and then you'll be a mom. And I was like, wow, I'm already a mom. Thanks, mom. But that's a whole nother thing. Yeah. So I didn't hear bereaved parent or anything. I heard lost mom. That was the first term I heard. So I was like, oh, I'll stick to that. That's cute. Like, I also do say like I'm an angel mama. Like I've used that before. Yeah, I don't know a lot of moms that use the term lost mom though after they're lost. they just say they're a mama, and then they'll open up about their like miscarriage or stillbirth that they experienced.
Because you're a mom. There's a quote. I think it's from the person who did the Pregnancy After Loss app that I love that says, you become a mother the moment your heart desires a child. And I think it's so true. And yeah, I think like I can relate to you. And it's funny you said that because I lost grandparents and I lost a friend in high school. But and at the same time, like this is a completely different level of grief. Like I was very close to my grandparents. I had a grandfather I couldn't talk about without crying for years. And I thought there was something wrong with me. I just didn't understand that grief was just like that. And then my daughter died, and that was like a completely different level of grief. But we are moms. Like we didn't need to have living children to be moms. And I think that's what, like with parents, you don't need to have living children to be a parent. And I remember being in the hospital, and I think it was my mom who told me that a fear, like she put into words like what was my biggest fear, which was like I will never be seen as a mom. And that was really true. Like I felt like I was never gonna get the mom title. And I remember like signing the paperwork at the funeral home for Juliet when they put relationship to the disease. And I wrote down mother, thinking like this is the only time I'll get to write this. It's like right here at the funeral home. There will never be like, and we just talked about this, but like first day of school, enrolling into school, like I will never get to write that. How cruel is this that the first time you write mother is on the paperwork for the funeral home? Like,
Mm.
I think that's something, if you've not lived it, it's hard to comprehend how much your heart can break. Everything feels so wrong in that instant. Like, it's just not, it's all your dreams, it's all your life, everything. You lose everything, your future.
Yeah. Oh God, that is so true. Holy cow. See, for Laylee, in the time that everything happened, it was during COVID, like at the height of the first round of COVID in our country. And so we couldn't have services for her. And so her dad and I just did something for us. And we had like, I'd gotten messages from like friends and family if they wanted to put anything, I'd put it on a balloon and we'd release balloons. But I was so sick, I couldn't even like sign the paperwork. Like her dad had to go and do it. I couldn't do it because I was so sick, physically sick. And then I was just so emotionally like so out of it. I was still on like painkillers and stuff. Like it was just a lot. And so I was doing the best I could, but God, I don't think I could have signed that paper. Like I couldn't. Like, and I think that's why I had her dad go do it. Cause like I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, and like, yeah, of course he brought the paperwork back, you still have to sign whatever, but like all that stuff, like I already signed the death certificate and all that stuff in the hospital. Like they took care of all that while I was there. And I think a lot of, I'm glad in hindsight that they did it when I was there and really medicated still, because I don't really remember those feelings of it. Does that make sense? Like I don't, like to this day, I'm like, and so there are times with my loss that I felt like it was a blessing on the timing on certain things like that. So I'm sorry you had to go through that, Marie. Like,
I think sometimes like the numbness is needed to be able to survive something. So not really survivable. So
there was days where I think about you and I'm like, I don't understand how we survived what we survived. Like I really
like a post on Instagram, like of all places, of course. Like say like I did not survive. I became someone else. And I feel like that's I did not the me. Like I always think like a part of me died, and it sucks because you have to I think you have to grieve that too. Like who you were before, you're not the same person. You can't go through this and stay the same person.
Ugh. And I think that's another taboo. I've already cried like 3 times. Trying not to cry. That's something I've been identifying with a lot. Because for me, like I was a yoga instructor when I was pregnant with Laylee. So doing yoga, I don't think people understand. Like teaching yoga for me, it's always triggering. Like I've taught yoga since. It was triggering AF. Like I'm not going to sugarcoat how hard it is. Because every time I look back at any like professional pictures from that time, I had a belly. I was very pregnant. And then it was like before COVID. So everything seemed normal and everything. Everything would just seem normal. And I'm just like, my gosh, like I just things are not the same from when I had Laylee. Things are not the same from when you had Juliet. And I think that's something for me personally the last 6 years. It wasn't up until this last year that I like left my long-term career. I like kind of left everything. Like I went through a divorce. Like there's so many changes I went through in the last 6 years. And I'm like, that girl's dead. Like she died March 28th, 2020. And I've written about this before. I've written about it in my book I'm trying to write. And it's just really difficult, Marie. Like I can't, it's hard to like want to be that person though. Because you still want to be that person. You loved who you
Right. I mean, it's not because it's not a choice. It's not a like, oh, let me go on this like wellness journey, healing journey, life changing journey. Like, right? It's like the rug was pulled from under you. The world as you knew it collapsed. And then you have to you have to relearn to live.
That's what it is.
Right? It's like you have to relearn to feed yourself. You have to relearn to like work. You have to relearn to care about like one vivid memory I have of after Julia died was that we were going on a walk in a neighborhood. And I mean, I was like newly diagnosed with heart failure. So it was short, like very slow walk. And we weren't laughing. We had not smiled in weeks, and then suddenly seeing all these people, this is like August, it was probably end of August, seeing all these people smiling and laughing. And I say crying, like, why are you laughing? Like, why are you like happy right now? There's nothing to be happy. I mean, obviously, I dare you. I dare you. My baby's dead. Like, what? Why are you like, life sucks. The world is dark. Like, how, and you don't say that. You just think it. And I remember my cardiologist asking me like how I was doing, like telling her this like had just happened. She was like, yeah, you're not ready to go back to work. You're not ready to like go back. Like, cause I think you have to relearn everything. But life continues. Like, it's like I still have to pay bills. I still have to take my car to the shop to get oil change. Like all these like life things still happen. And you're like, I lost my bearings. I need the world to stop. I need pause. Like I need to press pause. Like we can't continue right now.
Yeah. I think in most cases, like you don't get that pause, I think for me, I got that pause a little bit because we had to be isolated because of a pandemic. So I got that pause and I didn't need it for as long as I needed it. I'll put it like that. I think because for me, the pause, I needed it. And then I didn't need it when I would have to like go into Laylee's room. That was going to be her room. And I'm like, I wish we were in a pandemic right now. So that way I can have like all this stuff moved out, because I can't look at it. I think most times you don't get that pause though. I think for us, it was really unique. But again, like
yeah.
we need that pause.
Right. I was able to stay in my house. Like things had opened up more because it was August. And then we had the vaccine not so long after that. But I did appreciate not having to go anywhere for like there wasn't like big parties. There weren't like we weren't leaving the house. We weren't going out to dinner. We were kind of staying in our own bubble still. Yeah. But I'd love to know about like I mean we use the term rainbow. Like I use the term rainbow all the time. To me it's very I know like reading about it, like some people don't like it because of the connotation that the storm is the baby they lost. And to me, it's not. I see Juliet as like my sunshine, my like she, and then the storm is the loss. It's the dark years of loss and trying to conceive. And when I finally find myself pregnant with Theo, we couldn't get pregnant. And we tried for a year, and every time I had my period, I was devastated. I mean, it's like another loss. I mean, it was just like my mood fluctuated based on my cycle. It was awful. And when we were about to start IUIs, like we had done all the fertility testing, we were ready to go. And I saw this little line and it was just like, I always say like hope and happiness came back. Like I felt it. And it made me realize how sad and depressed I was until then. And of course, like seeing the line, you're like, oh, it's amazing. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm so scared. But there was like that feeling of happiness. I'm like, I have not felt this in so long. And realizing that you've not been happy for 2 years heavy. And then he's like really like, yeah, everything we have everything rainbow for him. Like there's a rainbow in his room, there's rainbows on if every clothes I can buy that has rainbows. Like I went all out with the rainbow. And he loves rainbows.
Your baby loves rainbows. It's on brand, girl.
Yeah, right. And Alois is a rainbow baby as well, because we had another loss in between. I do feel less of a strong need to have him as a rainbow baby, like have rainbows everywhere. Although we reuse a lot of tail stuff, so there's rainbows. He is our rainbow baby though, and there is like that. But I think it's because he didn't come after such a dark time that he feels less of. But so I don't know what I call him. I don't know if I use like my rainbow baby. I haven't decided yet. I'm not figured
Double
that one out.
rainbow. Your double rainbow.
Is that what a double rainbow is? I thought it was when he came after 2 losses. I
Don't know, but like, I don't know. He's a cute little baby. You can
He
name him
is
what
really cute little baby. He's a happy baby.
so cute. I'm like, oh my gosh. I swear, every little boy gives me baby fever for a little boy because I don't know what that life is like.
Yeah.
So like, I guess I'll be a girl mom. I will be a girl mom, like the whole thing. But yeah, I have a rainbow baby. Leia loves rainbows. She's obsessed, actually. So like in her nursery, we had like these little like rainbow stickers that we put on the wall and stuff. And her blanket. God, she's 5. This is hilarious for any mom's listening or who knows my child. She like has her baby blanket. It's like literally this big. Takes that bad boy with her everywhere if she can. Like to this day, and it's all rainbowy flower looking. It's very cute. There's times I just want to chop it up so that way it's like smaller pieces, like travel size, but like completely obsessed with this blanket, completely obsessed with rainbow everything. And I mean, like, I call her my rainbow baby. I'm like, your mommy's rainbow baby. Like, she knows, and she talks about her sister openly, which is so nice that like her dad and I definitely have agreed that we just talk openly about Laylee to Leia. And that is something that we have agreed on. And that is something that we followed through. And Leia talks about her at school sometimes. And she'll be like, yeah, my sister's in heaven, or like my sister watches over me and stuff. And so that's so nice. Sometimes like there was one time when she was really little, like 3, and we were at the store and we saw something like angel or whatever. And someone said something. She's like, this random lady, yeah, my sister's an angel. I'm like, okay, like at least you're open about talking about it, girl. But
That's awesome.
I think too, when you go through losses like that with your subsequent children that come after any loss, you should talk about it. I think that's one thing that is so missing in motherhood and in our society and in parenthood is like, I know dads especially don't talk about the losses that they experience. That's more. I've talked to a couple dads and they're like, that's more for my wife to identify with because she physically went through that. So out of respect for their wives, they're like, I support her and it is still my loss. They just want to keep the space open for their wives to talk about it, which I'm like, that's awesome that you guys do that. It's also okay to talk about your losses as a dad or as a man, right? It's okay to talk about your babies. So
I love them talks about Juliet. Like she's as important to him as she is to us, and he struggles with the question too. I mean, how many kids you have? Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's 3, sometimes it says 2, sometimes that yeah, I love that Layla has that little blanket and then she talks about her sister, and there are lots of books too to like teach children about loss. And my mom brought me one from France where it's like a star and a rainbow. And I read that story to Teo the other day, and it hits so close to home because the little star is born early and sick, and then the little star dies, and the mom and dad are really sad, and then they have a little rainbow. And I was reading it to him, and I was like sobbing and crying. I was like, this story reminds me a lot of Juliet, and she was sick, and I think it kind of opens the conversation on what happened to some degree. Like, I don't go into detail or anything, but he knows I miss her and he knows I love her, and yeah. And then she watches over him, and because it's like that, there's that part of that in the book, I think, of like the little star that watches over the parents and then is happy because the parents have a rainbow, and so I was like, yeah, but it's like it hit too close to home, and I was like trying to, I was like, sobbing. There's so many books to talk about rainbows and talk about.
Yeah, I think it's just amazing for anyone to talk about grief. Kids need to talk about grief because I mean, there's going to be at some point in each one of our lives that like we're going to go through grief.
Yeah. I
We're
mean, it's
we're
a
going to
given.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's a given.
I mean, unless you have zero relationship and you go through life without caring about people, but grief comes in so many ways too. I mean, loss of someone you love, but it can be like loss of a job, loss of an identity, loss of whatever. So of a relationship. Yeah. We all go through grief. That's a given.
Automatic. What's like guaranteed in life? Death, taxes, and grief at this point. You know, like I think people are missing the mark when it's like it's okay to be human. It's okay to be human. It's okay to like ask these tough questions of like how many kids do you have? But then don't expect to be shocked when you get like, you know, the real answer, not like some taboo, like fluffy answer that like, oh yeah, I got one perfect 5-year-old. You know, like I'm not gonna say that. Like it's just I wish more people in general would just be open to how another person feels and just give genuine empathy. Like, just think about what that person's doing, being like, not like, oh, I can't imagine.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
I hate that phrase. Oh my gosh, I
I
couldn't
just feel it.
imagine.
It's like close your eyes. Okay. Your baby's dead. Like, it's just like I've even before losing Julia, I have a very vivid imagination and very prone to catastrophe. I can catastrophize all day. I've imagined losing my husband. Like, it's just like I think it's part of the human nature to imagine, it's like I mean say it like instead of I can't imagine, I would prefer someone say I can only imagine what you're going through. Like,
Right. It's because they
yeah,
don't want to imagine because the trauma is so real. Because you have a person standing in front of you that's like, my daughter died in childbirth. My daughter was stillborn. My daughter is no longer here. And then you're like, ooh, I'm going to see
yeah,
myself on this conversation because this is a little too
right.
touchy. No, I'm not about that.
Oh, we don't need you to tell us like what doesn't kill you make you stronger or everything happens for a reason. Like it's like, oh my God, I remember like a nurse practitioner I saw after she died and she's like, and I'm not religious. I mean, we've talked about that. And she was like, God has a plan. You have to trust in God's plan. And I really believe everything happens for a reason. In my life, things that don't work out, then there's a reason. And I was like, I didn't lose a job, like things that don't work out. Like, it's not like I lost my job. I lost my baby. Like, she's not a thing that did not work out. She is my child. Like, it's very different.
So different. And I like on yeah, I get very frustrated because I am religious, I am Christian, I get that. I am practicing. I also get frustrated that like and I'll say this for anyone that is religious and listening, and this is why I do love our podcast, Marie, because we have these diversifying ideas, but it's like I don't fully believe that God wanted to kill our babies. It was not his intention. It is not the universe's intention to take innocent lives. And I've talked about this with like priests, like my priest. I've talked about this with like my pastor and my current, like, no. I've talked about this with friends that are religious officials. No, it's not God's intention. God does never intend for bad things to happen to us. Just unfortunately, that's the way life is and we're human and that happens. And I think in a lot of times, a lot of people are not meant to go and they unfortunately go early. But I think for me, what killed me the most and what changed my perspective a little bit is that when my own mom, who brought me up in the church, like she taught me my prayers, she taught me how to be Catholic and say the Our Father, the whole nine. She's like, God really needed your baby. God took Laylee. It was time. No, woman, it wasn't. The nurse messed up and didn't relay the messages, and then they just was no.
Yeah.
And when I explained my story to like my priest at the time, he was like, that was not God's intention. And what comforted me the most, I want any lost mom who is religious going through this, he also said this, which I was shocked. He's like, you have every right to be angry at God. You have every right to be angry at the universe and God and everything because that was your baby that died. But you also have to understand that wasn't the intention of what was supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. And I think that's like a beautiful way to 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 look at it. Yeah, it's just that's what's hard with like religion and because I grew up Catholic as well and in France, and so I just don't practice. And yeah, I remember we had the chaplain come from the hospital come to our room a lot, like almost every day. He was really kind and helping us through this, and he was doing it in a way that was very non-religious because neither my husband and I. And I remember him saying, "I'm not allowed to say this, but what you're going through is very unfair." And my first thought was, why are you not allowed to say it? You know,
because he's gonna get fired.
why are you like, it's very unfair. Like, why can't you say that? Because he obviously is. And I asked, I was like, why are you not allowed to say that? And he said, because of people who may think like this is as God had intended and whatnot. So I think as a rule, it doesn't say that, but I think you could tell that with us, it's what we needed to hear. And I think sometimes it's changing our language based on the audience, right? Like I'm 100% fine if people say, I will pray for you. And actually, when I was pregnant with Teo, my Christian friends were like, I'll pray for you. And then my Jewish friends were like, I'll pray for you. And my mom has a lot of Muslim friends who like wanted the best out. And I was like, Mom, are they praying for me? Because I just want to make sure like all my bases are covered here. Want to make sure like we have the three main.
That's what I forgot on. I only got my Christian friends. I've got my Jewish friends, my Muslim friends, my friends. My yogis were sending me good vibes, but
yeah, there you go. You just want to have all your bases covered. Like, let's like I will never turn down prayers if people want to pray for me. It's such a language is so important. Like language matters, and how we call ourselves, how we call our babies, what we say when somebody loses someone, and it's important to like listen to what other people want to. Like, what is the person going through the grief? How do they talk about it? How do they call their baby? How do they call themselves? How do they name their grief? And then we have to repeat that, like, as the person comforting them and using the language that the grieving person uses. I think it's so important to listen to that, because some people will prefer to say, like, I don't want to talk about it. And it's like, that's fine. But the person that's opening up, like, reusing that language that they use.
I love that, Marie. I love that. And you said something like a phrase so important that I think the audience needs to hear. It's like naming the grief for that person, because that's not talked about enough. Like you're so right. Everyone grieves so differently. And there was a time where like, God, when was that? Was it like when I was pregnant? I think I was pregnant with Leia. And I didn't want to talk about Laylee for like a couple months there. Like I would talk about her with my therapist and stuff because I had to, right? You know what I mean? Because I had to go to weekly therapy. But there was a couple months there I didn't really want to talk about what happened with her. Like I needed a break because it was constant. So I was constantly like dealing with my own postpartum depression, dealing with healing my body after pregnancy, heal and labor, and then healing everything. And then I had to still talk about Laylee with like my OBs, with my new team, because it wasn't the same doctor as the doctor I had with Laylee. Like out of respect for that doctor who later became a friend of mine, it was a big grief for her. It was a big loss for her. It was a big grief for me, big loss for me. And it was just better that I didn't have her as my doctor.
And pregnancy after loss, I mean, is extremely triggering. It's like you're reliving everything. Like your body is the trigger. And that is you have to live with this constant trigger. I mean, it's difficult. So
that was hard though. I remember that. That was probably the only 2 months I really didn't talk about her. Otherwise, I'm like obnoxiously vocal sometimes. But yeah, on social media too, I've taken a break about talking about her too. In the last year or two, it's hard. It's hard to post it. And then I get like backlash from people, about, oh, you shouldn't be talking about your stuff. I've gotten messages like that over the years, like from randos, and I'm like, I don't see it till later because it's in my like spam or whatever, but they're like, you should be talking about your loss, or it's just a baby, like you have another one. Like, I'm like, dude, I don't know you. I don't know you, Ashley, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying?
you haven't even.
Yeah. And then with like life changes for me, I've kind of taken a break, but it's just so needed to still talk about your babies. It's so needed to talk about your loved ones that have passed and keep their memories alive, because when I pass one day, hopefully when I'm like 93, I want my legacy to be talked about. And I want, and I want my memory to be kept alive, like with my kids and grandkids and stuff. So like that is really important. But it's also, how do we honor that person, and how do we honor that person who went through that traumatizing thing? What does that look like?
And I think like most birth parents plus parents have a big gift that we give our children, and that is to not be scared of grief.
Oof.
That is to like knowing how to continue honoring, talking about the dead, not being so scared of it, making it a part of life and a part of love. That is painful, but it's also beautiful. And I think we able to, like, it's a gift. Like, I didn't have that. And grief was like this, death was scary. Death was grief with this big, like, unknown of feelings and emotion I didn't know how to deal with until I lost my daughter.
Same. Yeah. Really good conversation, and really griefy too. I really needed the therapy, I'm not gonna lie. So thank you, Marie. You can bill me.
This was good. This was important. Language is important. And I think we need to continue talking about that, talking about those terms and respecting each other's language, and even in the lost community.
Yeah. I've seen that happen where sometimes, we don't agree as bereaved moms on language or how to grieve. It's still really important that we honor each other and honor our babies than this.
This is saying like worst club, best members.
Worst club, best members. Yep. Yeah. I think that's my taboo I'm trying to break, is the language. Like, I think, like, for me, I want, if you know someone who's going through it, like in general, they didn't even have someone die, they didn't have a baby die, they didn't go through miscarriage or anything. I think you just check in. I think we have a lot of times in this country in particular, in the United States, we have this like persona or assumption that like people are fine after like 2-3 days and then they're good, but we just all mask it really well and fake it till we make it, as the story goes. I don't like faking it till we make it. I like to be authentic and to show up as I am, like I think that's my taboo. I want to be able to have our society openly talk about grief and openly talk about the things that are really hard and the things that we are going through, whether that's death or life things. I don't know. What about you, Marie?
No, I mean, that's very much the same. Being able to talk about I date babies, being able to talk about not having to hide it, not feeling like, oh, it's not the right place. Like, it should always be the right place. And if it's always if at work someone asks me about my living kids, I'm going to tell them that my daughter died. And something to me is, why do I share? And it's not because I want attention. It's not because I want to shock. It's not because I want to make you sad. It's because I want you to know she lived. I need to share that she matters and she's my child and she counts as much as the other two. And that's why I'm so open in public, because I'm come also from a society that, friends is no better. And I don't know why my voice is so messed up right now, but I'm sick. Oh no. And like, friends is no better. It sucks. Like, with just how we grieve too, like an expectation of you to be better. I remember she wasn't dead for 2 months and I was told to move on by my French family. And it's like, you need to move on. You need to move on. Like, and I felt actually more grief support and love and encouragement from my American friends and family. And I mean, not everyone, it was some people in my French family. Most of my friends and family were amazing, but that pressure to move on, and I really felt. So to say, like, maybe it's our Western societies, I don't know. But yeah, I want people to be able to grieve openly. And I want these people to have the support they need and the love, and that we talk about. Like, I want people to feel comfortable to ask questions about dead people. And I think in general, like grandparents, parents, people will ask questions, but ask questions about dead babies. Like, what is their name? Who did they look like the most? You, your husband, like, how was their lower nose? Did they have hair? How much did they weigh? I don't know, like things that we want to share. And of course, if the person's want to share stuff, but I think like making it as much of a same type of question you would ask someone who has a living baby is important to make it. It's like, oh, your baby matters to me. I want to know about them. I mean, you can even ask, like, would you like to share a picture or something? Like, I would love to see it. And it's very uncomfortable to do because you
Mhm.
don't know how the weird person is gonna receive it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we should. I wish we had a society that was this open.
I know. I wish that we had like, I don't know. I just wish it was not a taboo to honor the dead
Right.
like every day and not just like I know in some cultures they honor them on one day a year or what have you, you know, or there's a special ceremony or festival or whatever that is for that culture. I want to honor our dead every day because they're part of it, you know, and we carry these babies and they're so important.
Yeah, All Saints Day in France is a holiday, and you go to the grave site of, and it's like, so we have a holiday to celebrate the dead, but we're like so not okay with grief and death in general, but we have that holiday. So
The fun day and then the rest of the year it's normal.
yeah, like we don't talk about it.
Oh my gosh. It's like, have you seen Encanto?
I have not.
Girl, you got
I
homework
know,
today.
I know. I tried to watch it on the plane one time, and Teo was like doing a million Teo things, so I couldn't watch it. But then I figured it would be sad, so I'll probably need to watch it in my house.
No, it's so good. No, it's amazing. There's just a song in there that, like, we don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah, I heard.
So
Yeah.
it's like, that's how I feel about grief. It's like, we just don't talk about grief. We don't talk about grief. We don't talk about the dead. But it's really important that we do. And it's so important that we honor it. And I'm glad Laylee's not alone. You know, I know Juliet's with her and all
Yeah.
our other babies, our friends' babies. Yeah. It's not that's what brings me comfort too, is like I feel like she's not alone. Like she's like constantly playing and she's having the time of her life and
Right,
sending me
right.
butterflies to smack me in my face every week, whatever.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like she plays with me like a puppet, you know? Let's see
They
what I can get mom to do next.
do. They do. Like, I don't know. I it's so funny. Anytime I like think about my daughter, I'm like, sorry, trying to get this out. She always wants me to pay things forward. So I'm like, "Ugh, I don't want to be nice today, Laylee. I don't want to pay things forward. I don't want to be helpful today to a random person. And then she makes me. And I'm like, okay, fine. Making me remember that I'm human and I am nice and I'm not griefy and you know.
I love that because I feel like that's her personality that you're sharing. Like she was a kind soul and she wanted to help others. And like, I just love that.
Yeah.
I just love that.
Yeah, and she loved In-N-Out. She loved burgers. Like, that's all I ate my whole pregnancy was, like, hamburgers and protein,
Yeah. I
chocolate.
yeah, Juliette is the one, not Teo too, but I always joke that she was in French territory because I'm French and she was like, I was pregnant. But I was craving pizza rolls, which is not something I've had eaten in like years. And I was
Like
like, she wants to remind me she's American. Like, and
like
that's just
like the little frozen pizza rolls that you get?
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's what I was craving. Like, I had not eaten these in like many, many years. And then suddenly I was craving those. And I was like, she wants to remind me she's American too. That is like,
my gosh,
but yeah. Yeah. And it's so beautiful when they like, when we feel them tell us to do something. I don't know. I just like feeling that push. I'm like, okay, I'll do it.
yeah, and, like, that feeling won't go away for, like, days until you do it, you know? Yeah, that's our girls for you. So fun. They're very
That's
needy,
right.
though, those girls. They're very demanding. I'm gonna say that.
They really are.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for this conversation today, Marie, and the therapy. Please bill me. Oh my gosh. I, like, really needed it.
No, this is a good conversation. Thank you. Thank you all for listening to this conversation and let us know what you call your babies, what you call yourself.
Yeah, yeah, we're going to be posting a lot. Let us know how you honor your babies, how you honor your loved ones. What does that look like for you guys? We do have a lot of like housekeeping really quick. We have a lot of like things coming up, which is really exciting. I know this episode's going to come out on Monday, so really excited about that. And then September's coming up. We have some really awesome guests. And then October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. So please like, share, subscribe, especially on our YouTube. Please share our page on Instagram. and especially gearing up for October. We're going to have not bi-weekly, but weekly episodes in October with some really amazing guests. I'm like editing them, Marie. I'm like so excited.
I'm so excited.
But yes,
That'd be great.
I'm so excited. Like, I'm like, this is so good. And I know our girls are really excited about this. I know I can feel it. So look out for those episodes, guys and gals. And I really just want to say thank you guys for supporting. Please follow Marie-Laure on Instagram at She Isn't a Taboo. I know she's been sharing a lot recently about her experiences going through her third baby and postpartum. So please follow her with that and support her. You can follow me at the Aireen Joy on Instagram and follow at Uncensored Mothers Podcast. We appreciate and love each and every one of you for listening. Thank you for our repeat listeners, and thank you for breaking the taboos against motherhood.